All right, tonight's topics are 2018 FLW Tour rule changes, and you guys get to pick the rest of the topics. So stay tuned in. See you in a minute.
Okay, here's the thumbs up to Matt, telling him we're back.
That's the only way he knows.
He's calling me out, man. Is this another make Matt look stupid night?
Yes.
No.
Every night's a make Matt look
Well, we
stupid
don't have to work that hard.
The other week, Jeff played with me a little bit. He's messing with me a little bit, and he made me look stupid on the delay and the topics intro. He's giving me a thumbs up. So
he did this. He said,
no, it was like a real subtle
I was just looking at you. he gave a full head nod.
All right, guys, thanks for joining. And tonight's first topic, we're going to let you guys discuss the second topic, or we'll let you guys pick a good topic and we will discuss it. But first topic is 2018 FLW rule changes. We have a couple rule changes for 2018, and honestly, I'm excited about.
They're not really rule changes, though. They're kind of format changes.
Yeah, they're not.
A little bit different.
That's right. Brian's correct. They are definitely not rule changes. They're format changes.
Yeah.
So
still can't throw Alabama rig.
Still can't throw an Alabama rig. Yeah, that rule's still in there, and that actually pertains to one of our pre-show questions that we got. And we'll go over that here in just a little bit.
He missed him.
So Mr. Wilson, I don't know if they can see him back here, but
Yeah.
There's 2 minutes. There's another. Look,
he's digging rocks. He's trying to get the last minnow we put in there.
Oh, there's another one left up top too.
And, there's 2 left, and these jokers are faster than those goldfish that we feed him. But this joker right here, I don't know if y'all saw the video I posted on Instagram. He was so full earlier, he would catch like his 11th or 12th minnow, and he's carrying it around by its head. Like taunting.
It's because he ate a 3.5 inch shiner to start.
Yeah, I did dump a big shiner in there just to see if he'd eat it. He didn't even hesitate. So, all right, back to topic 2018 FLW Tour. One thing they're going to change for us next year, we've always had a top 20 cut. Not always. Actually, back when I first started.
Yeah, it's top 10.
It was just a top 10 cut, and that's also. They had you all right with your mic over there?
Yeah, I'm trying to get it lined up.
Brian's in a like a UFC bout with his mic over here.
Oh, I am. I'm winning too. This mic does what I want it to do.
back when and Brian we did not wear these shirts on purpose. We had the same shirt on tonight.
Yeah, they actually did. They'd sent a group text.
Well, where's yours?
Mine was dirty. I have my Nantucket t-shirt.
So these are.
I think they're actually different. My logo is a little different shade of blue.
Well, like Brian said, I'll make this look better than he does anyway.
Either way, just for the record, there was a group text. I just didn't have a clean shirt.
There was a group text about shirts?
I don't remember.
Don't deny.
I think he was just saying himself.
So back when we started fishing, when Brian and I first started fishing as a co-angler back in 05, well, he started 06, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started 05, but it was a top 10 cut. We had a 200-boat field then also, right? So now the field's down to 165, and we've had a top 20 cut for the past, 3 or 4?
Yeah, 3-4 years.
3 or 4 years.
At least 4, I think.
At least 4. So after 2 days, we're cut to the top 20. The top 20 fish on day 3, and then the top 10 fish on day 4. Now they've changed that to a top 30 cut. I'll let Brian talk about it first, and then I'll tell you how I feel about it.
I like it. I mean, the only thing that I would say that I don't really like about it is it would be nice if you made more money just by making the cut. That would be my thing. I think like 21st through 30th gets the same thing 31st through 50th gets. It would be nice if there was a little money difference there, even if it was $500, $1,000, something like that, because you do have to spend an extra day on the water, and you're not really guaranteed to make any more money than you were if you finished 31st. I mean, really, obviously the points is a big thing.
Well, expenses,
but when we just had a top 20 cut, it was $2,000 more if you finished 20th versus 21st. So
And that's still the same.
Yeah, that's still the same.
If you finish in the top 20, you still guarantee more money than the $10,000.
Yeah, the payouts is exactly the same. The entry fees are the same. We just have a 30-place cut now instead of a top 20-place cut. And I like it because a lot of times guys they don't figure their fish out till the second day. And say you're in 50th or 60th the first day, and you've got a little bit of a hole, and you dig out of it, and say you're 25th the second day, and you think, man, I wish I could fish tomorrow. And it's definitely going to be a bigger change, and it's going to make day 3 a lot more interesting.
Yeah, it is. And Brian, that's something I didn't think about was the payout, because those guys, the guys who are in 23rd place at the end of the day, still get that $10,000 check. So the money doesn't change till you hit 20th place.
Right.
So you're going to have more expenses. You got another night in the hotel room. You got some extra boat gas, things like that. So you got some extra expenses tied in.
But it'll kind of offset because it is a selling point for your sponsors.
Absolutely.
Because that's
more coverage.
That's more coverage. A top 30 coverage. That could equate another day on the water for a lot of guys.
Yeah, because FLW Live starts on day 3, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So in the FLW Live, that is priceless coverage. There's
and that's raw coverage. That's watching us in the wild, I guess you would call it.
Unedited in the wild.
Yes, unedited in the wild.
So, that's a good point. And another reason I like it, and Brian kind of touched on it, is that it gives guys. I've finished a lot more than Brian has, and that's not demeaning Brian. That's not criticizing Brian. Brian's usually like 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th place.
Where's he going?
Matt's usually like 23rd, 25th, 29th place. So all those 20-something place finishes would have turned into cuts and given me another opportunity to go out a 3rd day and possibly jump into that
right,
top 20,
possibly get
or even top 10.
Top 10, yeah.
And some places a guy can jump from 25th to 5th.
Oh yeah,
now,
a lot of places.
And then a lot of places, like Lake Norman and Smith Lake, and places where the weights are really, really tight, but a guy's on a consistent bite. He's averaging 3-pounders, and the guy in 16th caught a big bag the first day, but he's tailing off every day.
Right.
That gives us an advantage. The guys that are more consistent and can fine-tune their patterns each day of the event and get better as the event goes on, definitely going to have a distinct advantage. I love it. Brian loves it. There's no reason. I don't think anybody out there is going to hate it.
No, I don't either. I think it's a positive all the way around.
Just a little more competition.
Yeah.
It's more guys in the mix, but that's what makes it fun, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you make the cut after 2 days, you're catching the
And plus, it opens the door for those hero stories. A guy coming from 30th place to win or something like that. I think you get a little deeper in the field and you see more patterns develop too.
Yeah, that definitely true. All right, so the top 30 cut is new for us next year, and another thing that I love is the top 35 in the points has qualified for the Forest Wood Cup the past couple of years. The reason they dropped that back, it was 40 something.
Yeah. But now we used to have
a bigger field.
Yeah, we used to have 75 boats in the championship too.
Yeah, that happened for a couple of years, and they went back down.
Yeah.
So next year, instead of the top 35, same field size, 165 guys from what I understand, and now it will be the top 40 in the AOY points qualify for the 2018 Cup. I've always been a big fan of them taking more guys out of the tour because that's where your guys are actually making their living, and less guys. And this is no offense to the guys that fish AAA series. Brian's he double qualifies most of the time because he qualifies to the Coastas too. But when they're giving 10 spots to guys at a AAA level event, that I'm just not a fan of that, straight up. And the reason being is because there's guys out here like myself and Brian who do this as 100% of our it's 100% of our income. And when you get most of those guys from the AAA level events and the BFLs and so on and so forth, they all have jobs. They all have regular full-time jobs.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of tour pros that do too.
Yeah, there's still a lot of tour pros that still own businesses and things like that.
Yeah.
But that being said, I always think the tour guys deserve the majority of the spots given in our Forest Wood Cup. Now, there's other championships for those guys. There's the Costa Championship, which has a phenomenal payout. There's the BFL All-American.
But that's still an avenue for making the Forest Wood Cup is the Costa Championship.
Yes.
I think they're just, instead of taking 10, they're going to take 5, like you said.
Yeah,
earlier.
you'll still have an opportunity to qualify for the Cup that way, I'm sure. But they're giving us 5 of those spots, from what I understand. So I love that. Big fan of that.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely like it too because, when you're at the tour level, like you said, you want to see the tour guys in the championship, but you've still got to have spots for the weekend angler and everybody else that fishes to be able to earn a berth. And I think what they've got now is a good balance of that. I mean, you've got the majority coming from the tour. You've got a fair number coming from the Costa Series. You've got TBF. You've got college anglers making it. And I think that's a good majority of the way to spread it out to the entries into the Cup.
Yeah,
now.
it's very diverse. We even have an international qualifier now.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Which is really cool. I think ours this year was from...
He was from Korea.
South Korea.
Yep. Sponsored by Demiki.
Not that I
right on.
Not that I had to say South Korea. I don't think anybody would send a qualifier from North Korea.
They might.
But they're probably not even allowed to fish over there, from what I understand. But anyway, that being said, guys, I know there's been a lot of terrible things happening this week with the natural disasters, the shooting in Vegas.
Yeah, that was a bad deal.
Yeah, and our thoughts and prayers go out to everybody that's been affected by all these bad things happening lately. We hope this show can give you some comic relief. Brian's always good for comic
forget
relief.
about life for a little while.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. But tune in. Let's talk some fishing.
Matt's barefooted, by the way, and he's got stinky feet.
I am barefooted. There's this nice soft carpet that Jeff put underneath
Jeff
the table.
does have some nice carpet in here.
You know, if he'd have left
I'm
that,
going barefooted next week.
I'm starting a trend. Brian wants to wear shoes like me, which means no shoes, wear shirts like me.
No,
and
I
just
had
fish
my
like
shirt
Brian.
on first.
How do you know? I might have had this shirt on since I got up this morning.
I don't want to.
All right, so guys, let's look at a couple topics. There's been a few topics. Dylan Hayes, what's up, Dylan? Thanks for tuning in, buddy. Michael Bryan said, Jeff can answer this. Hey guys, I looked for the T-shirts online, but I can't find them for sale. Where do I need to look to find them?
You should be able to look for the shop tab on the Facebook page, and everything should be there.
Okay, the hats and shirts should be on our Facebook page on the shop tab.
Yep, under the shop
Do we
tab.
have a shirt here?
We do.
Yeah,
Go get it.
We've got some
Let's
shirts
look at
here.
it.
Jeff's got one of the new hats on. Hey, bring some of the hats in here, too.
Who wants to see Matt bottle the new shirt? I'm going to leave the room.
Brian just wants me to put on a different
No,
shirt.
I'm
wearing,
yes, exactly.
He's wearing the same thing I am. Let's see. Will said he's making his wife watch with me and say hello. Hello, Will's wife. All right, let's go back a couple questions. Let's see.
Oh, that's pretty nice. And these are Haybo Outdoors.
Those are Haybo branded shirts.
That's the back. That's the front. Then you got a little Haybo logo on the sleeve. Quaker State logo on this sleeve. Pretty nice.
Brian, you're doing such a fine job. You can show them all the different hat colors, too.
That feels good. They're nice and soft.
Are you
Look at
wiping
that.
your sweat with that shirt?
No, you got to respect the softness of a shirt. You got to check the thread count. It's got to be soft. It's pretty nice.
Well, Jeff done hooked it up. He's got all kinds of
we
different
got all
color
kinds of
hats. All right, so let's
We've got.
Mike Langford, Brian, has
Black
got a
hat.
question for you.
I'm checking out the hats. Look at that. We got orange. I think that's the same.
That's a different model.
That's a low-rise type hat.
We've got a chartreuse hat. Ooh. And then your gray. This looks like a flat bill. I think that'd fit Matt. That's a good flat bill.
All right, Brian, question from Mike Langford. Hey, Brian, my wife and I are at Linkie Fall fishing the ABA Couples Championship.
Ooh, that's a good lake.
Understand why it's your favorite.
Yes. It is my favorite lake. It's a good lake.
Is that a question, Mike? Or
I think it's a statement.
all right,
I understand that as
that's definitely Brian's favorite lake, by
yes,
the way. 100%.
that he and his wife are catching lots of big bass on Lake Eufaula. Is the way I understand that. Is that correct, Mike?
That's Lake Eufaula, Alabama.
Give us a weight prediction, Mike. You're watching us here. What's it going to take to win it?
All right.
ABA Couples Championship, Lake Eufaula.
Lake
I'm
Eufaula.
thinking, I've never been there in the fall, but if it's a 3-day event, I'm going to say it's going to take 63 to win. Wait.
That's 20 pounds a day.
Yeah, I'm
In
going.
the fall, really?
Yeah, I'm going like 58 to 63 to win for 3 days.
Wow, that's impressive.
Maybe more.
That lake's got some big fish.
All right, Mike Harris. Let's see. I split my fishing time between Chickamauga and Lake Chattooge. Chattooge? Is that how you say that?
Chattooge.
Huh?
Chattooge.
Shattuck. I said
think.
Shattuck. I can handle chick, but I need help on Shattuck. Shattuck is a deep, clear blueback herring lake. I need some seasonal advice for a starting point for the pre-spawn, spawn, summer, and then winter. Well, a deep, clear blueback herring lake, for instance, Hartwell, Murray.
I don't think they're clear like Shattuck.
They're
clear.
probably not that clear. Shattuck's like beaver clear, like 20 feet,
I
right?
think so. It's kind of like Kiwi, something like that.
Yeah, so
I don't know. I've never been there before.
Big spots in it or something?
I think it's got big everything.
Yeah, so
I really do.
I
I think the mountain lakes like Joe Cassie and Shattuck and all those lakes, I think everything gets big because nobody goes up there because they're not very fun.
Well, there's like trout in those lakes too. There's like rainbow trout and stuff in some of those lakes.
Yeah, probably.
You know, those fish out west get so gigantic because that's what they eat a lot. They stock those lakes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I've never been to any of them. It's too far to drive.
But you still have advice on the Clearwater fishery. As far as pre-spawn, spawn, as clear as that water is, I would be throwing swim baits as hard as I can. I mean, there's got to be a lot of visual. I mean, those fish have to feed visually more than anything.
Yeah, at least to locate them. I mean, that could help you find the type of structure they're using or where they're at. I mean, even if they don't bite it, they might follow it, and then you come back with something a little more finessey and catch them, maybe. But
yeah, now those fish in the summertime and the fall, they're going to be 100% related to those herring, and they're going to be suspended. They're going to be roaming around.
Yeah.
Your smaller swim baits, your top waters. If you go back and watch the Cup at Lake Murray, some of that stuff, I'm sure, especially if it's got a lot of big spots in it, will definitely work that time of year, whether it's your soft stick baits like your flukes, things like that, your big walking baits, your pencil poppers. If there's a bunch of spotted bass in there, they'll come up and crush that stuff in the fall. Wintertime, I imagine deep jigging spoons, drop shots, things like that, depending on how they're set up.
yeah, but that's the time of year to fool a big fish. I mean, if you think about going to those,
I was going to say A-rig.
well, not just a rig, but a jerk bait or a big jig, something like that. I mean, you're not going to get a lot of bites, but that's the time to go target bigger than average fish. I mean, that's going to give you your best chance at catching a true trophy.
Yeah, and if you can find some fish related, I'm sure there's a lot of natural rock in that lake, and that's something I would look for, especially in the pre-spawn. Don't let that clear water scare you. Brian and I have both caught fish in gin clear water using power fishing techniques. We've caught them in gin clear water on Alabama rigs with blades on them.
Yeah.
And that's something that people they overlook because they think spinnerbait, dirty water, things like that. That stuff, given the right condition and the right time of year, that stuff still works in those Clearwater lakes. Let's see. Michael, I hope you found the shirts and hats. Nick Williams
I
said...
still got a shirt for sale.
Nick Williams wants to know, how do you deal with boat traffic and other anglers stealing your spots? That's something Brian and I were talking about just the other day. But it happens all the time.
Boat traffic really doesn't bother me, and 99% of the time the spots doesn't bother me because it just, if I've got one spot, odds are I've got more than that. So
yeah.
I mean, to not be able to fish one spot, you can expect that on a lake. When you're talking about fishing a tournament, I mean, whether it's a team tournament, a local tournament, a national tournament, whatever, you put 150 guys on the water with the way the equipment is now with electronics and stuff, odds are several people are going to find the same school of fish. So you can't let that bother you. I mean, they're not going to catch them all. I don't care how good they are. Now, they may not leave and give you a chance to fish it, but they're not going to catch them all.
Yeah, and sometimes you just have to adapt to that kind of pressure with a slight change in your technique, a different timing, different rotation.
Yeah, a different angle or something like that. I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can catch them.
Yeah, boat traffic, I think, bothers guys more mentally than it actually bothers the fish. As far as people jacking your spots, I mean, it happens all the time to us. It happens to a lot of people.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of times you don't know if they literally jacked to your spot. I mean,
well, that's true.
You don't know if they rode by and seen you sitting there and hit a waypoint and
sometimes
come back and check it out. But
sometimes they do because they tell you they took your spot.
That's true. That's true.
That has been known to happen to Brian before. So, anyway, so let's go into some pre-show questions, and then we'll get back to the live questions, guys. So stay on with us. We're going to answer a few of these pre-show questions.
And guys, hang on, let me hold you up. Guys, make sure y'all get on the Let's Talk Fish Facebook page and enter some more questions for us. We love hearing what people want to talk about and what they're interested in. And
on our website.
It's on our website.
Yeah, it's on our website.
Let'sTalkFish.com. And enter some more questions. You know, we like looking through them and seeing what's on everybody's mind.
Yeah, that's what this big stack of papers is. We're still going through questions that we got 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Right.
And forgive us for not answering all the pre-show questions. We would rather probably interact with you guys. Well, not probably. We for sure would rather interact with you guys live and answer as many questions as we can live. But we do some of these pre-show questions just to kind of get the show started.
Yeah, it gives Matt a chance to be politically correct and get his answer in his head, you know. So,
And also,
You're saying I can make up something so I sound good?
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
if y'all could take a second, hit the
It's a good way
share
to get Matt to lie
button, hit
to
the
you.
share button for us to help us spread the word a little bit. We'd appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
guys. Make sure you share our show.
I don't know
on
how all
Facebook.
that works.
And Brian said he don't know how all that works.
They can just share it live right now. Other people see it.
Share
button. All you
away.
do
It's
is
magic.
share.
It's just magic.
So, all right, this one's from Logan Taylor, and we got this one a little while back. But Logan said, "I always hear and believe if you don't think a lure will catch fish, it won't." So, with that said, how do you go about expanding your arsenal to new techniques and lures you don't have confidence in? Simple trial and error. The Alabama rig is a perfect example in my mind of something that I saw that I had already convinced myself. And this is a true story. I stayed with a guy. His name was Keith Ray. Remember Backstabber Lures?
Yeah.
They had the hooks on the back.
Yeah.
Okay, so this guy owned Backstabber Lures. Real nice guy. Let us stay at his place down there at Pickwick Lake. The tour was there several years back. It's right before that.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I know. I bought some there.
He gave me an A-rig. And,
I had to buy mine.
well, he said, you might want to try one of those things.
Oh, so you
And
got
guess what I
pre-tournament
did?
info.
No.
It's all coming out now.
And
I'm just
I
kidding.
said, I threw it in the back seat of my truck, and I said, there's no way the fish down here bite this.
I think everybody did that.
Okay, so several guys probably got them from locals, and I threw it in the back seat of my truck. I never touched it until Paul Elias won that tournament down there at Gunner.
I did the very same thing.
Now, what would have happened if you or I had picked that thing up and chunked it at Pickwick?
We probably wouldn't have given it enough time to figure it out. Because I
Would
bought
it have
some.
taken more than 1 or 2 casts, you think?
Probably. I mean, it would have.
That being said, Logan,
I did the same thing, though. Let me tell my story on that.
well, the point of that is the heck with what you hear and believe.
Yeah.
Forget that. Try everything. Trust me. Take it from Bryan Thrift, who is a lure. I'm not going to say the next one.
I like fishing lures.
He likes fishing lures. It was funny. We were fishing last Thursday night at Moss, and David and I were fishing, and Brian was fishing, and David said, "Wait till I show Brian this." And David owns the Great Outdoors, a local tackle shop.
In the
here.
tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Before blast off, we're sitting there talking.
Who won?
Well, that's not funny. Brian won. We finished second.
This is an honest
But we got
question.
big fish, so we actually got more money than Brian. Well, no, we had to split
Y'all
it,
had to
so-
split it. I got to keep
Never
all
mind.
mine.
All right. So David had this new bait, and he was like, "Oh, wait till I show Brian this." And he tosses it to Brian, and he's like, "Yeah, I've had that for like a year. It ain't been on the market for a year."
Yes, it has.
And he's like, "Oh, I've had that. You know, I've had
It
that."
had been on the
But
market for a while.
All this guy right here does is every day he wakes up, he gets online, he finds out
That's
everything
not
that's
true.
brand new. Everything that's
So that
brand
was
new.
a topic that I saw. What's the hottest new lure?
Well, the biggest craze lately. Let's get the biggest craze lately is probably the spy bait. If I had to guess,
That or that sprinkler frog
yeah, that
thing.
sprinkler frog.
Yeah.
It's fixing to be the new prop series coming out from Lunker Hunt here in about a month. So that's going to catch more fish than that sprinkler.
Sprinkler frog.
Like,
That's the
Yeah,
one you
like
can't even
sprinkler.
get, right?
yeah,
do
that's
do
funny.
the
So
sprink-
you can
do the
get it
sprinkler dance move. I think you need to do it. You made a noise. How'd it go?
like this.
There you go. I don't think
I'm
that's
just
right.
making sure the camera's on.
All right,
That looked like the tomahawk for the Atlanta Braves. I'm just saying.
But I was rotating.
All right. You got to bring it back though. You got to spin and bring
I'm
it
good,
back.
I'm good. So, what's your story about the lures? You know, always hearing that they won't catch fish. Never believe the hype.
Yeah, I
Always
mean,
keep
this-
an open mind and try it.
I've wasted a lot of money buying stuff that was not any good that I've end up giving away to high school anglers. Just stuff that I didn't like. I mean, I'm sure it'll catch fish somewhere, but I have wasted a lot of money because I'll see something new and I'll buy one just to test it out because you never know. I mean, if you're the first person to get on a new technique, and you've got it to yourself for a couple of months, even 4 or 5 tournaments, I mean, you could make some money on it. I mean, that's the way the A-rig was. I mean, Paul was one of the few guys that had it at that Gunnersville event, and he made everybody look stupid with it. So.
Yeah, you'll have smaller windows than others.
Yeah, I mean,
the cat's going to get out of the bag eventually.
Yeah, it used to be you could keep stuff like that to yourself, for a while, or keep it amongst a small circle of friends. But now, with media coverage, you can't hide anything.
With media coverage and social media.
Yeah, social media, you can't hide anything.
Typically, the cat gets let out of the bag pretty quick nowadays. All right, so we're up to 86.
Hey, I got a quick question on the spy bait for our viewers, and I want y'all to comment.
All right, Bryan Thrift, write this down.
I've got a question.
Asking you guys.
We just reversed the entire.
Yes, I'm going from
they didn't know that
host to viewer. The spy bait. I've caught spots and smallmouth on it, but I've yet to catch largemouth on it. Has anybody had success catching southern largemouth on the spy bait?
Southern largemouth, northern largemouth.
Yeah, not northern largemouth, but southern largemouth. Like I've fished places and lakes around here that I've caught fish every cast largemouth on other baits and thrown a spy bait specifically trying to catch them on it, and have yet to catch a largemouth on a spy bait. So
let us know. If
somebody answer that for me.
And don't lie. We know how fishermen like to lie. Post a picture if you got it. Ryan Love said he's shutting live off if Matt starts to model.
That's a good move.
That's a good
move.
What's up, David Thornton? Thanks for tuning in. Let's see. Oh, we were on pre-show questions. I was sitting here scrolling through.
Let's take a quick break and come back.
Break time.
Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back.
I'm going to enjoy some chewy sprees.
Some brands test their oil deep in Siberia. We focus on places you actually drive, deep in the cul-de-sac. Nothing exotic, just damn good oil.
All right, guys, we're back. Let's do one more pre-show question, then we're going to jump straight into your live questions. We're getting a lot of questions rolling in here, so let's see. This question's from Tucker. Tucker said, this one's for Brian. Brian, I listened to your Bass University seminar on jigs. What keys, he said you're talking about your mama jig, what keys do you look for in a good jig used for skipping?
The biggest key for me in a jig that I'm going to use to skip baits, like the Mamba jig or the Mamba 2, is I want to have a jig that's got the skirt tied, where the skirt material is tied around the head of the jig instead of having a collar. Because a lot of times that collar will slip down when you're skipping docks. So that's one reason I like the Mamba jig so good. It's got a nice wire collar that's tied around so it keeps the skirt material there. It never separates, and you don't have to worry about it sliding down when you're skipping the bait. To me, that's the biggest thing.
What about head shape? What's your favorite head shape? Like an Arky style?
Head shape really doesn't matter to me outside of a football head. I mean, you want the good thing about a skipping jig and having that skirt, and you're usually skipping a smaller weight. I mean, as opposed to a football jig, you may throw in 3/4, 1 ounce. But with any jig shape that's got a collar that comes down the shank of the hook, that spreads the weight out. So all the weight's not right on the tip of the jig. I think that means a lot too.
All right, that's good. That's good jig tips from one of the best in the world. And that's, let's see, I mean, I've used a lot of different jig skipping over the years. A local guy that hand ties them here, Louis Hole, makes a phenomenal one. But Brian touched on the main key. I do like some of the Arky style heads that kind of have a flatter backside to them too. It just seems like, when you're a kid, you're picking out some rocks to skip across the water.
Yeah.
You wanted one with a flatter bottom because it would take off.
And
better.
another thing that'll help you skipping a jig is when you're learning, choose a trailer that you can slide up on the shank of the hook, that you can thread all the way up the shank of the hook up to the skirt, and that'll skip a lot better than just a chunk or something that's on the back of the hook, because it does give you a bigger surface area. I mean, you've got a nice flat surface area. I like to use the Demiki knockout. I'll thread it all the way up on the hook to where the head of the bait's all the way up to the skirt, and that gives you, if you lay the jig in your hand, you've just got a nice wide flat surface area, like Matt said, just like a big flat rock.
Yeah, and that's a good tip too. Like Brian just said, find a trailer that you can slide all the way up on the hook, because a lot of guys will still nose hook like big salty chunks and things like that.
Right.
But that gives you so much. There's so much more resistance when that thing hits the water.
Exactly.
And that water's more likely to catch it. So when you first start, and creature baits are great for trailers, like
right.
what Brian was talking about. There's a lot of different type creature baits, and you can slide it all the way up the shank of the hook. Creates a nice flat surface, because the body of most of the beaver style baits
they're
are flat,
half-inch wide too.
Yeah, they're half-inch wide.
They give you a lot of surface area.
You think about that. I mean, that's like I said, that's like picking up the perfect rock. Skip it up under a dock. But that's a great way to get started. Good tips on skipping a jig. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're gonna go straight into live questions now, guys. So. Let's scroll down through here.
I'm waiting on somebody to say they've caught largemouth bass on a spy bait. Southern largemouth
Nobody's
bass.
answered
We've
that
got
yet.
a couple comments, but
I don't think it's happened yet.
nothing on southern largemouth. So maybe I don't just suck with a spy bait. Maybe it's just where I live.
Yeah, I don't think I haven't caught a ton. I probably caught maybe 30 or 40 fish on a spy bait, and I have not caught a single largemouth.
I have not either.
It's been all spotted bass, actually. For
Yeah.
me, it's been 100% spotted bass. Kevin Chandler, what's up, buddy? He said to tell you he's going to use that 15-minute practice rule at the James River BFL Regional next week. So good luck,
That's a
Kevin,
good
there.
plan, especially on a tighter river, because
Yeah.
you want to look at everything and you want to look at it during different tides. So
Yeah, that's a good tip, Kevin. And anybody fishing that tournament, we got several buddies going up there to fish that tournament. Make sure when you look at stuff, you pay close attention to that tide. You know, a lot of us around here are not used to fishing tidal
Right.
rivers, and that's going to make a big difference. Guys get sidetracked because they get on fish at a certain tide. They don't pay attention to what time it is, and you might not even have that tide during your tournament. So pay close attention to the tide charts. If you run Lowrance, you've got quick access to your tide charts.
and there's a lot of apps you can get on download on your phone too.
That's right. There's some really good apps,
Yeah.
some tide chart apps that you might want to jump on and grab.
Somebody said they've caught schooling bass on Lake Tillery on a spy bait.
Does that mean largemouth?
I'm assuming it does. I know there's smallmouth in Tillery as well. I don't know about spots, but he may be the only man in North Carolina that's caught a largemouth on a spy bait.
Mitch Bergen, thanks for tuning in, buddy. What's up? Mike Langford did say that earlier about Linkie Fall. That wasn't a question. That was just a statement.
I told you. I said it's a
he said they're
statement.
crushing them down there.
Exactly.
Catching them in the hydrilla.
So Daniel Jones is the first known human to catch a largemouth, a southern largemouth on a spy bait
First, well,
That I'm aware of.
that
that we're aware of.
That we're aware of.
On this show.
Yes.
So Daniel,
Congratulations.
congratulations! You win a Let's Talk Fish hat.
Ooh, good
So,
call.
Whatever.
There you go.
What color?
There you go.
Here's
Look,
your colors.
We just started giving stuff away all of a
Wait,
sudden.
Jeff's giving stuff away. This is awesome.
That's the first
I don't even
known
have one.
human to catch a southern largemouth on a spy bait. That's worthy.
According to
Wait, now you're gonna. Well, he didn't send a picture, Jeff. You're gonna get all kinds of people starting to say they're catching them now. So be careful what you're doing.
well,
Hey.
he was the first.
That
So
was the
as far
first.
as we know, he's the first.
Okay, so he's the
he,
first,
he
so he
wins.
wins the hat.
He
All
wins.
So let us know what color and send us a DM with your address and we'll get it out to you.
What's DM stand for?
Direct message.
Okay.
I'm glad you fished for a living, buddy. Nick Williams said, "Wintertime Wiley needs some advice. Wintertime on Wiley can be a little tricky, but it can be really good too. The guys caught him this past weekend. There was a BFL, a 2-day BFL down there.
What did it take to win? I
He
didn't
took
think.
26 something, which is pretty strong this time of year for Wiley. Let's put it this way: the BFL that I jumped in back in April, 12 pounds was a top 10 weight in April.
Yeah, it's
That
not
was
the lake
very-
it used to be.
That was very similar to now, though, and typically this time of year it's way tougher.
Oh yeah.
Buddy of mine, well, little Timmy Tompkins finished third down there, and
Well, you got to call him little.
he said. Brian's thinking I'm throwing short jokes.
I'm telling you, I'm short. Me and Timmy's the
That's-
same
Well, I'm not
size.
making fun of you. I just said my little buddy. You're my little buddy, Brian.
Timmy, we're gonna have to talk with him. We're gonna have to jerk him to the side and have a talk with him.
All right, like y'all get plenty of shots at me, so I'm gonna take one back in. So wintertime at Wiley, Nick, can be
The brown hat.
it can be really good. Brown, we don't have a brown.
All right,
I may be colorblind.
The orange?
Is
Did he
this
say
one brown?
No, Daniel hadn't let us know. Let us know what color you want, Daniel.
That was Ricky Griggs.
Wi-
My bad.
Wintertime at Wiley, Brian. What would you
We
do?
take care of you.
The lower end of the lake where it's clear. You know, I like to jerkbait that time of year.
Yeah,
definitely catch them on an A-rig down there all winter long. If it ain't been beat to death with an A-rig by the time you.
Oh,
go
it
after
will
them.
be.
But
It will be.
We used to catch a lot of fish on grub down there.
Yeah, Wiley used to be a good grub lake, but I think I don't think it's that good anymore. Like you're anywhere.
It still has the numbers, but it's just in a cycle. Wiley is in a down cycle right now. If you look at the tournament weights this year and last year, they're absolutely horrendous. I mean, when you got tournaments in March and April and 15 pounds is winning on the lake where it used to have 10 bags over 20, no problem that time of year.
I fished a tournament on Wiley one time. They used to have an 8-fish limit. Me and Louie fished it. And we had 8 that weighed 34 and a half and finished 4th.
I believe it.
Finished 4th.
Yeah, they used to crush them down there.
We had 8 4-pounders.
I was down there this year when they were on the bed, so I got to visually see kind of what the lake had to offer because I was down there during the peak spawn. And it's still got the number of fish in it, but it does not have the quality of fish in it. I literally looked all day one day, and I didn't even find a 4-pounder.
Yeah.
I mean, and I saw 200 fish.
Yeah.
You know, and so you know it's in a bad cycle right now. There's still plenty of fish in the lake, but don't expect to catch 25 pounds if you get in there. If you do, call us and let us know how you did it. But that being said, jerkbait, A-rig, grub, find the bait in the winter.
Yeah, the key's the bait. That's the whole key in the wintertime. Find that bait. Find shad. Doesn't have to be fish busting. Just find that bait, and they're going to be around it somewhere.
Absolutely. And stay, I mean, you could catch them in the creeks, but just stay close to deep water access, wherever you are. I mean, you can catch them shallow, but they're going to want quick access to deep water, whether it's a channel swing bank or a big, long, flat point that tapers off in the channel on the main lake, something like that. So start on those places looking for bait. And when you find a bait, you'll find a fish.
I think Daniel Jones said he wants the gray and black one. This looks like it.
Gray and black?
Gray and black. Mark it. That's on you.
That's your job to keep up with.
Gray and
All right,
black.
guys, we're getting ready to hit 100 live.
Is that good? I think it's good.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, because Montgomery, we had the biggest show.
We had Montgomery on a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he
was bragging about
He
it.
hadn't stopped talking about it yet.
That is true.
So
that is true.
We have to beat like 110.
No, it was 120 something.
Was
All
it
right, so
120?
Let's see if we can get to 130. Everybody give us some shares. Let's see if we can get to
Y'all get some
130.
shares. Let's get up to 130 just so we can
hurt Andy's feelings.
We
That's
got.
right.
We have to shut Andy
sole
up.
purpose of hurting Andy's
We just
feelings.
all of a sudden jumped to 102. Appreciate it, guys. All right, David
See,
Thornton asked,
Andy's not watching because he don't want to contribute to us beating when he was here.
If he logs on, that's one more eyeball,
Exactly.
one more set of eyes. So he's not gonna like that. David said, "How much are the hats? How much are the hats, Jeff?"
Everything's like 20 plus free shipping.
Okay, so $20, and that includes free shipping.
Yeah, we eat the
Okay.
shipping, which
So
is
shirts and hats,
6 or
20
7
bucks.
something like that.
Like for both?
No, a piece. The shirts, I think shirts are 18, and like double X is 20, and then the hats are 20, but everything's free shipping.
Good
Everything's
deal.
20 across the board, free shipping. Unless you get a double XL, then it's a.
No, that is 20. The other shirts are 18.
Oh, other
free
shirts are
shipping.
18. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Corey Watford said he's got a tournament at Hartwell Thursday. Any advice?
Hartwell Thursday.
Got any advice for Hartwell on Thursday?
I've never been there in the fall.
Shaky head. Shaky head.
Shake it.
when all else fails, Corey, I'd look for schooling fish. To be honest with you, if you got time, I don't know if that might be a night tournament being on a Thursday. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there's some kind of ABA something maybe or something. I think it's a multi-day event. I know they just had a BFL super tournament there a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure what it took to win. I remember them having.
It wasn't a lot. It was about 12 pounds a day, 12 or 13 a day.
Yeah.
So Todd Stanley has a good question, a Lowrance question. Best setting for Lowrance sonar setting to show the thermocline. A lot of people ask us about thermoclines and what they are. Brian has very scientifically explained what the thermocline is.
A couple shows ago, he absolutely
Do I
did.
have to do it again?
No,
or-
you don't have to do it
Okay.
again. They can go back and watch those shows. He's done it 2 different times on 2 different episodes.
I can
talking
do it
about
again.
The he just likes saying the word stratification.
It's a good word.
It is a
It's
good word.
It's a big word for Brian.
It should be used more often.
So the setting for your Lowrance sonar set, it's all about your sensitivity. And I've actually had different Lowrances that had depending on how I set them, their sensitivity was different on different units.
Yeah.
On
But-
how sensitive they actually work.
All right, just to get a little bit scientific, when you're looking for the thermocline, you're only looking for it like the months of July, August, and the 1st of September.
That's right.
After that, there is no thermocline. So if you're looking for a thermocline in November or April, you're not going to find it.
We typically don't even see it pop up around here till August. Well, July.
Yeah, late July,
you'll see
mid
it in
to.
July
It
sometime.
depends on how quick it gets hot. I mean,
That's
it
right.
depends on how when the water gets, in the mid to upper 80s to low 90s, that's kind of when you'll start seeing a thermocline. And then once the water gets below the low 80s, it'll kind of go away. The lake will turn over. So,
but get on your sensitivity setting. Get out there where the thermocline will show up, and just adjust it accordingly until you see a distinct line there.
Yeah,
that's the way. That's the way I do it. And Brian and I every year we get new units and we have to readjust things and settings.
Yeah, and I'm constantly changing the sensitivity on my graphs, just from lake to lake. I mean, I'll change it during the course of the day if I don't feel like I'm seeing what I need to be seeing. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that can affect the sensitivity setting, where you need to be versus where it was. So just change it and see what it does to the graph, and it doesn't feel like it's giving you a better reading, lower it back down,
Yeah, and we're like Brian said, we're manually adjusting that quite often based on where we are and what we're looking for.
Right.
So don't get caught up. Don't get a brand new Lowrance HTS 12, throw it on the boat, leave it on auto all year long.
Yeah.
Because you're going to miss a lot of stuff, I promise you.
Yeah.
Use that sensitivity function as an advantage.
Right.
Let's see. Sydney Riddle said they're also watching deer in their yard. Will Sydney just shoot us your address and we might be over in the morning?
I will not be. Because I believe I'm going fishing again in the morning.
I'm actually going deer hunting in the morning.
I don't doubt
so
that.
That's typical Bryan Thrift.
I'm probably going to be eating breakfast at Shelby Cafe by myself in the morning.
You'll be by yourself. My sweet wife, who's probably watching, is going to take the kids in the morning so I can climb in the deer stand because it's going to be nice and cool. It's going to be the coolest morning of the fall so far. So
I understand. I see where we stand.
You're going to be eating liver mush at Shelby Cafe solo.
Hey, I might be eating liver mush, but it'll be on the way to the lake.
Where are you going?
I don't know yet.
I'm just going fishing.
Yeah,
Typical weekday.
I'm going to go somewhere.
I'm going to
fish somewhere.
Hook up the boat, take off down the road.
Exactly. That's
like
the best fishing trips when you don't know where you're going. That's the good thing about living where we live. We've literally got 10 lakes within an hour drive of us. I mean, a lot of them are smaller lakes, but you can kind of pick your poison. I mean, I've even been to one lake and didn't like it and go somewhere else in a couple hours. I may go for the Catawba River Gauntlet tomorrow. I may start at Lake James and fish all the way to Wiley. I wonder if that's ever been done in a day.
I believe you would do that too.
Catch a fish out of every lake on the Catawba River chain from Lake James to Lake Wiley. How many lakes is that? James?
Hey, we should do a Let's Talk Fish challenge.
Oh, that'd be a good challenge.
Bryan Thrift start on the head of the Catawba River Lake.
Let's see, Lake James,
North Carolina, and he has to go to every lake during the day, catch at least one keeper bass.
Got to be a keeper?
Got to be a keeper.
State regulations are turning like 12 inches?
No, 12 incher.
All right.
State regulation keeper.
All right, so I got to go to Lake James, Road Hiss, Hickory,
Mountain Island,
Lookout Shoals, Norman, Mountain Island, and Wiley. 7 lakes.
7 lakes in a day. He's got to
catch one keeper bass.
Every lake. I'm a video.
That sounds like a fun challenge.
Let's see. Shane McFarland wants to know, is this truly the last year for co-anglers on the FLW Tour? Shane, we can't answer that question because we're honestly 100% not sure.
I don't know the answer to that question.
I mean, there's been talk about it, but we don't. None of us know for sure. I mean,
my 2 cents, I hope not. I think we need co-anglers.
Yeah. So,
I think we need co-anglers. I hope they don't. So.
No comment. I'm gonna. All right, Michael said, What's the so Michael wanted to know what the fastest way to break a lake down you've never been on. So Michael, there is a great, if you go to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Brian has got a video. Wasn't that video separated out on how to break a lake down? How to maximize your practice? Didn't you break that video out?
I don't know if that's the one that's broken out or not.
Well, do you remember what episode it was on?
It was one of them.
Yeah, it was one of them. Brian did a great piece on breaking a lake down for practice and how we go about when we approach a new body of water. So go back and check it out. It's on one of our first couple episodes, and he does a great breakdown. He could talk for 20 minutes on that, so we won't do that tonight, but it's definitely on our YouTube channel. And it was great tips.
I got a question from Ronnie Bell. If you had to pick one rod and reel to use for everything, what would it be? That's a good question because, I mean, let's face it, rods are expensive. And for a good quality rod, my hands down #1 pick would be a Fitzgerald Bryan Thrift frog rod. That is my all-purpose rod. I do everything with it. I throw top water, throw frog, throw swim bait, throw Carolina rig with it. That is the most versatile rod in my box, and I've probably got 10 of them on the deck with something different tied on each one. I mean, you can really do anything you want. And I was throwing the pencil poppers on it at Lake Murray and fishing out deep with it on Carolina rig and all that stuff. I mean, it's very versatile. And as far as a reel, I'd probably go with something in the 6-to-4 gear ratio, one of the Abu Garcias or Revo, something like that. I mean, they last a really long time, and I think that's the perfect setup.
Yeah, so
For me.
Let's take a quick break, Jeff, and then we'll come back and answer some more questions live, guys. Thanks for the interaction tonight. We've had over 100 live viewers. Stay with us. Give us just a second. We'll be right back to answer more questions.
That's the cue, man. Again, speaking again.
All right, so guys, we're back. I saw my buddy Timmy jumped on. Timmy threw in Tree Shacker. I think he meant Shaker. Dockmaster Jig is the best for skipping jigs. Timmy, congrats on your finish this past weekend. I guess all those tips when you were my co-angler buddy on tour helped you out. No, I got to pick on him a little bit. So, Timmy actually practiced with me a whole season on tour, and Timmy's become quite a threat lately. He's doing very well, working really hard at it. So, Timmy, thanks for tuning in, buddy. Let's see. Favorite fall time bait? Man, I got a lot, but depending on the fishery, I mean, you know, it's all about the shad that time of year. I've caught them really well.
Chewy sprees are delicious, by the way.
Chewy sprees are delicious.
Those sweet
We
toast are
still got
pretty good.
candy left over from last week.
I don't see how.
He's doing a number on it, though.
I eat them all day long.
Brian, what's your favorite fall fishing bait? Favorite bait for fishing in the fall? It's usually a good jig bite when the weather starts cooling off, and I love tapping.
Yeah, but like I consider that more early winter.
And that's not more of a numbers bait anyway. So.
No, fall. I want a top water I can cover water with. I mean, I'm gonna
Go figure.
Yeah, I'm gonna start out with the Linkie Rambler. Probably gonna be my number one choice, and then I'm gonna go to the buzz bait and the plopper. It's gonna be some form of top water. I know that.
Wesley Bray said he caught largemouth on a spy bait on Lake Murray. Do it, Wesley. We could not get him to bite a spy bait down there when we were there. So
I can't catch a largemouth in North or South Carolina on it. I can't.
Brian can't reel a spy bait slow enough. To catch
That
it.
may be one. It looks like a prop bait. Like I want to throw it on top of the water and twitch
It
it.
twitches and it sinks. So
Yes.
Jeff's looking at us like Jeff's a redfish man. He don't know what we're talking about.
I just know that I'm not fishing a spy bait for largemouth.
You wouldn't want to fish it for redfish either.
Why not? Maybe the greatest red fishing
Because most of
bait
them
in the
fishing
country.
like that deep of water, you'd be hung all day long in oyster beds and all that.
Yeah, you just got to throw a bigger line.
Bigger line.
Yeah, so it doesn't sink as fast.
Then not like rope.
Nah, you throw like some good 20-pound fluorocarbon. I mean, that'd keep it close.
Thomas Comer is on. Thomas, thanks for getting on, buddy. What do you look for when you're going to be punching grass mats? Man, I'm not a grass mat fanatic myself. I do love punching them, but I look for irregularities. I look for isolated mats. Same thing with docks, rocks, all kinds of stuff like that. Brian can probably dive into it a little bit deeper.
Yeah, we don't get to do it all that often, but I know it seems like you want some kind of activity. I mean, I either want to see bait in the area,
Right.
I want to hear brim popping bugs underneath the mat, something like that that's going to say, fish right here. I mean, it's some kind of irregularity like Matt said, or bait fish activity, something like that. And it's just like that even if you're not fishing a mat. I mean, you want to look for bait or look for something that's going to attract those fish and keep them there. That's the biggest thing.
Let's see. On the Red River, Toby Jones says, "What's up, guys? Have a Bass Champs Championship next weekend on the Red River. going to be tough. What's your thoughts? We fished a cut there a few years ago.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was good for numbers of fish.
Yeah.
And Brian caught a couple really big ones.
I caught an 8-pounder.
Yeah, I caught an 8-pounder in August on the Red River, but
On a shaky head.
was on a shaky head. And so, what's your thoughts on the Red River this time of year? It's a little bit later than we were there, but I'm sure.
I would think that would be a good place to find bait and catch a lot of fish in a small area. I bet if you could get in one of those ponds and just figure out where the bait is in it, you could have some fun.
Yeah, and those drains coming from those ponds in the river channel, if you've got some moving water, always have a bunch of fish in them. I don't know how crowded it's
current's
gonna be.
obviously going to be key.
Yeah, current's going to be key, and I'm sure there'll be some guys frogging and catching them.
Yeah.
They're still on that.
Spinner bait, chatter bait, something like that.
Yep. But good luck to you, Toby. Hope you go out there and whack them. Let's see. I need to scroll down. I'm way behind here. Les Doolin said, I think all the big catfish that are in Wiley now are eating the bass. What are y'all's thoughts on that? Well, Les, I don't know. Yeah, I honestly don't think that's the problem because Wiley's had a lot of big catfish in there for a long time. And look at Santee. Santee has got 100-pounders in there.
Yeah.
And their bass population's booming, and they got giants in there.
I think it's got something to do with that whitewater center.
You mean
me and some guys have talked about it. Like, that's about the time Wiley started going downhill is when they put that whitewater center up the river.
And back to what I was saying earlier, it's like, and that could be something to do with just how nutrient rich the water is.
Yeah.
Because it still has the numbers, but it's like something stunting their growth.
Yeah, but I mean, you just all of a sudden, it wasn't like a gradual decline from 20-pound average winning to what it is now with 13 pounds winning. I mean, it was like a light switch. It just happened overnight. And that's what's weird about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. But no, Les, I don't think the catfish are eating them all. I think there's something else going on. Like Brian said, we hadn't put our finger on it yet, but if we figure it out, or if you guys have any insight on that, please let us know. Let's see.
Jeff, you're being awful quiet over there.
I'm just learning about spy baits.
Spy baits. Wesley Bray said, what time of the year do you start throwing orange crayfish colors? For me, typically it's a pre-spawn deal. And I've caught them in the wintertime on it. All through the winter, I've caught them all the way through the pre-spawn on it. I love crawfish, red and orange patterns in the pre-spawn. Brian?
I really don't ever throw orange crawfish.
Not even in the pre-spawn? Pre-spawn.
No.
Was that? Yeah, okay.
I throw the same color jig from January 1st to December 31st.
No, what about crankbaits and things like that? He's not just talking jigs.
Oh, yeah. Now, crankbaits, I do go with orange or reddish colored crankbait pre-spawn. That's about it.
Yeah. Pre-spawn is the main time that we use those colors.
Yeah.
Look, y'all see Mr. Wilson back there. There's 2 minutes left in there from that load I dumped in earlier. Every once in a while, he'd go up and start chasing them, but he's so fat.
Look at his belly.
He just sinks back down to the bottom.
He can't even swim.
Dude, he ate like 12 crappy minnows earlier and a big shiner, and he can't even chase them. He's so weighted down right now, I can't even chase him. Let's see. John Presnell. John's a guy who does. He did concrete work for.
What's up, Mr. Tim Frederick?
And I tell you what, John. We'll give you a discount on a hat when we get a discount on our concrete work. How about that, buddy? And I want you to prove that it's a discount now, and I'll prove it's you a discount on a hat. We'll hook you up. I promise you, John. Let's see. Blake Tilley, he made a good point. We talked about this earlier. He said, I always throw orange crawfish patterns in clear water. And that's a good point because some people, they shy away from those bright colors in clear water, but we've seen it time and time again where it catches them.
Oh, yeah, especially when you're around smallmouth and spots.
Yeah, 100%. Which in my opinion, they're a lot more, largemouth
they're a lot
visual
more
feeders.
Aggressive, and they're more visual
Very
feeders,
visual
too.
feeders,
I think so.
Let's see. Chris and Carleen Roberts, where does Table Rock rate on your list of top Midwest lakes? Well, I'll touch on it real quick first because the White River system to me is my favorite system in the United States.
Really?
Yep. And the reason being is because you've got every type of cover you can imagine. You've got every water clarity you can
No
imagine.
grass.
And well, you're right. I'm sorry, you don't have grass. Brian just proved he's looking for point out that I'm wrong on. Okay,
I agree with you though, because all of them have all 3 species of bass.
4. There's mean mouths too. If they recognize them out there,
Do
they don't
they?
recognize them
As a species?
Yeah, because Arkansas recognized a state record that came out of beaver years ago. Yep. So
That's pretty cool. Didn't know that.
Mean mouth is for those of you that don't know, it's a cross between a smallmouth and a spot, and they straight up live up to their name. I mean, they are mean.
Yeah, they kind of look like a shoal bass.
That's right. Yeah, similar to a shoal bass. Yeah. But to answer your question, it's right at the top of my list. The whole White River system, and very scenic, all different types of cover, all different types of water clarity, and 4 different species of bass that we're allowed to weigh in our events out there. You can get clear. You can get as clear water as you want on some of those systems. You can get as dirty water as you want on some of those systems. You've got docks, mostly floating docks. Well, pretty much all floating docks.
Yeah, can't fish a marina though. Don't fish marinas.
Yeah, you can't fish marinas. That is one downfall. But other than that, right up there in the top 5 in the country for me.
Yeah, I like the White River system too. I mean, I miss going to Beaver. I really enjoy Beaver Lake, and I like Table Rock also. That's the only 2 I fished on the White River, but it's like Matt said, they are fun. I mean, Table Rock's one of the few places in the country you can go and have a legitimate shot to catch a 5-pound largemouth, 5-pound smallmouth, and 5-pound spot all in the same day. I mean, that's one of the few lakes that has that caliber of fish for every species. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's a special thing right there. And plus, James Watson lives on it. So that's got to make Table Rock awesome.
JMFW lives on Table Rock Lake, so that gives it like a plus 10 points. Plus
Yes.
10 bonus points.
Right.
But yeah, like Brian said, there ain't too many places. There's nowhere in the country that I know. Well, there's probably a few.
There's got to be somewhere.
Excuse
Chateau,
me,
probably.
There's probably a few out west where you can catch 20 pounds and have 3 or 4 different species in that 20-pound bag. That's pretty awesome. Let's keep on going down. That Ryan Love said, "Dang, I got to lose weight to save $2." He's talking about the upcharge on the XXL. Well, they charge us more for a bigger shirt, so therefore we got to charge you more, unfortunately. But talk to Jeff, the man here, and maybe he'll give you a $2 discount. Let's see. What's the best way to fish Lake Murray in the winter?
Probably not, but maybe.
He said probably not, but maybe. Timmy Osteen.
We'll talk about it.
What's the best way to fish Lake Murray in the wintertime? Brian, you probably got... I love a deep jig on that lake in the wintertime.
I've never been there in the winter.
Well, I fished it in February a bunch.
Yeah.
I would consider
hadn't
that
done
wintertime when the water's, low 40, upper 40s to low 50s.
Yeah.
And I like to... And there's more than people think. There's actually a lot more deep natural rock in that lake than a lot of people realize. But I like hard stuff, and I like to drag a big jig. I've caught them on big living rubber style football jigs and things like that over the years, and there's nothing more fun to me than dragging a big jig around real slow when the water's 50 degrees and hooking into a 7 or 8 pound largemouth, which Lake Murray's got a bunch of.
It does.
Let's see. I think. So I'm just now catching up to Ronnie Bell's question that Brian answered earlier.
You're way up there.
I know, I'm way up there. Well, pick me out a question here, Brian. Stephen Crawley wanted to know about your approach, how you caught him on Seminole in March this past year.
Now, Stephen.
Brian, is that you don't want to answer that? Brian
Crawley lives there.
Oh. Well,
I think. You're close.
Let's see. Alex Hanley said, during the fall, do you like to target shallow or deep water? On the one you choose, what kind of cover are you looking for? Well, Alex, we've touched on this a few times, but it's more about the bait than it is the type of cover. The fish will relate to a variety of cover based on where that bait is, but they're going to follow that bait wherever it goes. And that can be shallow or deep in the fall. We've caught them 20 foot deep. We've caught them in a foot of water.
Yeah.
Primarily, most of our approaches probably are shallow.
Yeah.
Typically that time of year.
Typically shallow.
And you'll find a lot of fish schooled up on flats, in the backs of creeks, even off the main lake where there's a big flat tapers off in deep water. They'll get up there real shallow and run shallow on those flats. You'll see a lot of surface activity and things like that. So you said, what are you looking for? I'm looking for bait first. Let's see. Ronnie said, thanks for the info, Brian. Oh, Jared.
That was on my rod.
Jared's got a good question. Jared from Wisconsin. What do you think? By the way, Jared, we love being up in the Mississippi River. I love it when we go to new fisheries.
I do too.
Brian says he hates
Except rivers.
but he seems to always come out fairly well at the rivers. He's had some great finishes. What do you think of Ouachita again for the Forest Wood Cup? I was there last time as a spectator, and I have a chance to qualify for it through the college series. Well, Jerry, good luck on qualifying for the Cup, man. Hope to see you there. And you know,
I like it.
Brian. Let Brian in.
I like going to Ouachita. I mean, just because I've been there enough, I feel like a local. That's about the only reason.
He said he's been there enough, so it feels like.
I mean, I think this will be like the fourth summertime championship I've fished on Ouachita.
I don't want to say this to start controversy, but that's the reason I don't like it. Because when we go to a championship, I don't want to go somewhere we've been. I want to go somewhere new. I want to go somewhere where it's a fresh start for all of us. And anybody that's a first-time qualifier, it's a fresh start. And that could actually, I
think that gives them an advantage if you're. Because
it depends on the person.
Rarely does the same pattern win on the same lake year after year.
Rarely. I don't know. I don't remember the time it did.
Right. I know Ouachita, the 4 times we've been there, one year it was one out of timber, one year it was one on top water, one year it was one on a drop shot, one year it was one out of deep brush on a big worm.
And then last year's big back of a creek.
Yeah.
There's like 5 of the top 15 guys in the back of one creek.
Yeah, that's why I like it, because you get to see different aspects of the same lake. And the only thing I don't like about it is everybody knows what happened last time, so they go do it, and it kind of splits fish up. Or like if you've got a somewhat of a pattern starting to emerge that was similar to the previous year, by the time the tournament actually starts, everybody's ran that pattern in practice, seeing if it's a viable option, and it's no longer a viable option.
Yeah, and that was Lake Murray. You saw that play out this year big time. That blueback herring deal, the top water and the soft plastic jerkbaits got exposed when Anthony won it in 2014.
Yeah.
That just happened to be by far the dominant bite this time. But everybody already knew about it going in, whether they had any experience doing it or not. These guys are good enough that if they see somebody do something on TV or they read about it, they're going to be able
can go do it.
To do it. So that being said, I'd love to see a place we've never been before. When's the last time we fished a cup? Well, I started back in 2007, but so when I first started qualifying for some cups, and
probably the last one that was kind of a stray from the norm was actually Wheeler, probably.
Yeah,
and that's the first one we've had on the Tennessee River.
And so, and I love that. I love being. It was tough as nails, but I love being somewhere we'd never been before. I just felt like it evened the playing field out a little bit more. So, Jared, hope to see you there. Good luck qualifying, buddy. Let's see. How do you feel about Jeff Creek's comment that lead-headed jigs are on the way out? Jody Mark Wright said that. I haven't heard Creek's comments on lead-headed jigs being out. I know there's a lot of states that are starting to outlaw the use of lead. We go up
I didn't
north.
realize that.
Well, we go up north, you can't use it on Champlain, right?
Certain sizes.
Well, certain sides of the lake, right?
Sides of
Vermont that outlawed it, and New York.
But it's also certain weight sizes.
Weight sizes, okay.
Yeah.
And I think California's doing something. There's several states that are starting to do that.
Which that really wouldn't affect me. I throw a lot of tungsten now.
Yeah, I have very little lead in my boat. Even a lot of my jigs I throw are tungsten. I still have some lead jigs, but what else do we have in our boat that's primarily lead anymore?
Jig heads, which is what the question was about.
Jig heads, yeah. So I do have, but I do own a bunch of tungsten jig heads too. So
that's true.
Worst case scenario,
there's other options.
Yeah, there's other options out there, and it's like this is getting kind of off topic, but it's like duck hunting. There's when they outlaw lead for hunting waterfowl. There's like 7 different types of shells that came on the market that you could buy.
Now I'm under the impression that the ducks actually look for the shells and try to eat them. Is that why they banned them?
It's the lead.
Yeah,
it's the lead. Yeah, so it poisons them if they ingest it.
Well,
how often does that
know
happen?
the difference?
Well, they say it's bad for the whole ecosystem.
I got a question of the night.
All right, I can see
you
that.
Got the question of the night from you or from one of our viewers?
It's for Brian.
From one of our viewers?
No, it's to Brian from
Jeff.
From me.
Oh, okay. Jeff's got a question for Brian. Sorry.
How does a duck know the difference between a lead shell casing and a steel shell casing?
That's a good question. That's a good question. I don't know.
Based on your comments.
He was nailing Brian because Brian said,
Well, I wondered, I mean, how
he's
often...
not eating the shell casing, he's eating the lead.
I know
in
that.
The water.
I know that. But you've heard of the needle in a haystack. How does a duck find this little number? I don't know. What size shot do you
He
shoot?
turns up on his head and he's down there feeding on the bottom and he picks up a piece of lead in his beak with the grass and the aquatic vegetation.
So it's kind of like driving a truck around and getting a nail in your tire.
More or less.
Eventually, it's going to happen.
Well, yeah, it's going to happen.
Okay,
I mean, I don't think
I got it.
But
I mean, I see. I didn't understand, like, the way y'all make it sound like the whole
Brian's
bottom
a
of the
fisherman,
lake.
not a hunter. So.
The whole lake's just covered with lead shot or something. I don't know.
Let's see. Oh, what are thoughts on the new B.a.s.s Opens format? What are y'all's thoughts on the new B.a.s.s Opens format? That's from Cody Nichols. I just saw Tim got on. You said hey to Tim earlier. Hey Tim, thanks for getting on, buddy.
Yes, it's like way back. You totally missed
Well, he
that.
answered the grass mat question for us.
Yeah,
Tim
that was
would be
like
a great
20
man to
minutes
answer
ago.
that. Okay.
Tim would have been good to answer that.
What are y'all's thoughts on the new B.a.s.s Opens format? I'm not super familiar with it. I did read through it. What I've understood is they broke it down into 2 divisions instead of, did they have 3 or 4 before? 3.
Yeah, 3, I think. Didn't we already talk about that too?
Mm-hmm.
With
Yeah,
Andy?
we did.
With Andy.
Yeah, Andy
With
talked
Andy
about
was
that.
So there you go, Cody. Go back and watch episode 3, I think it was, where Andy Montgomery was a guest on the show, and we really broke that down. So it was kind of a comparison between the Coastal Series and the new B.a.s.s Open Series that's coming out next year. So they've reformatted a lot of things. Let's see.
Ducks.
We're going to take Brian.
I tried to stump
this
me.
fall.
I ain't going.
What's that?
No, the closest I get to duck hunting is when I fish with Matt at Moss Lake.
You've been
and
duck
we
hunting
have to
before,
fish
right?
for about an hour in the dark. And he likes to try to run through herds of ducks and
I
see
know-
if one of them will
hey,
hit me in the
Hey,
face.
Randy Blockett might be watching.
I don't care. That's what you do.
I do.
He says, but I
It's
swear.
dark. You can't see them. They're roosting in the middle of the lake, and I take off down the water.
You've been duck
and
hunting before, right?
The
Well,
goose
it-
just
no.
happens to bounce off the back of Thrift's head, and he gets mad at me.
I know.
You've never been duck hunting?
Never been duck hunting.
We got to take him duck hunting.
You should go before you knock it.
He likes.
I mean, I'm not
It's just
knocking.
fun for me
he
to see
likes
the
dove.
ducks.
He likes dove hunting.
I
I
like
just
duck
like
hunting.
seeing the ducks not eat the lead shells and pick up the steel.
Gotcha. Whatever you say. Whatever you say.
It's fascinating.
Justin Lee, we got a first-time listener, and Justin Lee here. Justin, thanks for tuning in, buddy. He said he really appreciates the advice pertaining to marking schools of bait fish and how to fish it. Would you prefer marking bass in the same column of water among the bait fish, or marking bass below the bait fish, which is a better case scenario if there is one? I think if the fish are relating and they're suspended close to that bait, either or would be good. I mean, if they're streaking through the middle of it, they're actively feeding, which
Yeah.
is even better.
And there's always fish in the area that aren't right in the schools of bait. I mean, they may be on the bottom, just kind of in the area with the bait. So you can always, I mean, even if they're busting on the surface, you can still usually catch fish underneath them or, you know, on the bottom or on top, something like that.
All right, let's see. Scott Harwell wanted to know, Brian, where you fish most when you're at home in the off months.
I spend most of my time on Lake Norman or Moss Lake just because they're close, and those lakes have the biggest population of fish in the area. I mean, if I'm going to go fun fishing, it's going to be on Lake Norman. I mean, I can go and, you know, if it's a bad day, I'm going to catch 30 or 40. Good day, I'm going to catch 60 or 70. So Norman it is. It's a good lake to learn on, too, because you can get so many bites. You can do a lot of different techniques. That's where I tried to catch largemouth on a spy bait, but I caught a lot of spots.
Well, Norman is chock full of spots. But
Yes.
Yeah, and you look at Norman and the fishermen, the caliber of fishermen that it's put out, there's a lot of pros from our area.
Yeah, there really
I
is.
mean, you put a 60-mile radius or circle around Lake Norman and look at how many professional anglers have come out of this area.
Yeah.
Even some older guys that don't fish anymore, you know, Hank Parker and some of those guys.
Yeah,
but,
Guy Aker.
Yeah, Guy Aker.
Who was recently inducted in the Hall of Fame.
He was, yeah. Congratulations to Guy. You're supposed to get him over here on the show one day.
Yeah, I need to talk to him. I hadn't mentioned it to him.
No,
We'll try to get Guy over here as a guest. Guy would
That'd
be a
be
good
awesome.
one. He has seen everything that you could imagine in this industry, the ups and downs and everything in between. Greg Lyko, I hope I said your last name right, Greg. Who picks the lakes that you go to every year? That would be the FLW organization, the tournament director, Kathy Fennell, who's the CEO, correct?
Yes.
And Bill Taylor, our tournament director. They have a group there that handles all that. So unfortunately, they do ask us.
Yeah,
for
they
advice.
send us a survey.
Yeah, they send us a survey. So and a lot of the lakes that we end up picking on our surveys end up coming up on the tour.
Yeah.
Whether it's the next year or the year after or something like that.
Exactly.
So scheduling conflicts and things sometimes prevent them from getting them on the schedule sooner. But they do the best they can to get them. To get us on good lakes at good times, and the last couple of years it's been good schedules. Next year's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
I'm looking forward to it.
we're going to talk about that one episode coming up is next year's schedule.
I thought we did that already too.
No, we haven't talked about next year's schedule. J.R. Mitchell, here you go, Brian. Here's a good one for you. J.R. Mitchell said, "I'm getting bullied up here at Smith Mountain Lake for always throwing a shaky head." He said, "I can't put it down. When you get hooked on a particular bait or technique, how do you mentally wean yourself off of it?" Don't they have therapy for that?
Not really.
Weaning
I mean, it
yourself
depends
off
on if
baits
you're winning or
getting
getting beat. If you're winning, obviously keep throwing it, JR.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. I mean, if you're getting beat and you're still throwing it, you may want to broaden your horizons a little bit and mix in some other things. But if you're winning, just keep on winning.
That's right. Yeah, if you're catching JR,
Yeah.
don't even think about putting it down. He said, "Is it suitable for January, December?" When it gets colder, I like a jig, and if you have to go to a smaller profile to get the bites, you can. But I like a jig better than a worm that time of year.
I do too, because you tend to target bigger, or you have more big fish actively feeding. I feel like in the summer months, a shaky head will catch as many big fish as any other bait, because most of the big fish are in a negative feeding mood. I mean, they're just not biting, but they'll still reluctantly pick up a shaky head occasionally versus maybe letting something bigger go by. But in the wintertime, I'd definitely try a little bit bigger weights or bigger baits. I might even try putting a bigger worm on your shaky head.
Yeah, that's good advice. I mean, and like Brian said, I do think in the warmer months a worm definitely shines a little bit better. Than
Yeah,
the
it
jig does.
definitely does.
All right, one more question, guys. We're gonna call it a night. Brian and I are gonna go get some dinner with Jeff, and I think I'm gonna change shirts before we go.
Y'all are inviting me this time? They normally don't invite me.
Maybe, but I'm gonna change shirts because we're not gonna go out to a restaurant in Shelby.
Come on.
I got a Let's
looking,
Talk Fish shirt. Here.
looking like twins.
Let's talk fish. Just for you. Put that on.
Bryson Grimes. I'm going to put a new shirt on. Bryson Grimes. To win on Lake Norman this time of year, would you fish the southern end of the lake for spots or north of the 150 bridge for largies? Well, first of all, Bryson, there's largies from one end of that lake to
Yes,
the other. So
there are.
don't narrow yourself down as far as you're targeting one species or the other, because there are plenty of Mr. Wilson's back here chasing again. I'm telling you, he's too slow. He's getting slow in his fat
Look
age.
at his belly.
Yeah.
So he's bulging.
I'm gonna let Brian answer that since he's got a lot more experience on Norman than I do.
Lake Norman for me is I fish the whole lake. I mean, every single day I'm there, I fish the whole lake.
And you can potentially win any given time of year on any section
You
of that lake.
can win any tournament on Lake Norman, anywhere on Lake Norman. It's just finding the one little creek arm or pocket that the fish are actively feeding in, and that's why I cover so much water on Lake Norman, because it is like that. I mean, I might fish 2 hours on the lower end, 2 hours up the river, and 2 hours in the middle of the lake. I mean, and then if I decide, well, the lower end was better, I'll run back down there for the last little bit before weigh in or something like that. I mean, I run all over the lake when I fish it, and you'll eventually run into them. I mean, the key thing at Norman is don't get stale. Don't just keep pounding in an area that you're not getting bit in, because there's somewhere they're biting.
Yeah, and like Brian said, you could potentially win anywhere on that lake at any given time. You've got to figure out. I know that's not the answer you wanted to hear, but you have to figure out which section of that lake is the most active, the most alive at that time of year. Because I've seen it won I've seen tournaments won in Davidson Creek. I've seen them won all the way up at the dam. I've seen them won Stumpy Creek, Rocky Creek, on the main channel. You name it, tournaments have been won there on Lake Norman. So it just depends on time of year and which part of the lake seems to be a little bit more alive. Bryan covers water very efficiently, very quickly. So when he does that, he's able to break the lake down super fast at an efficient rate also. So he can narrow it down to which part of that lake he knows he needs to be in for that given tournament day. And that's what practice is for.
And it changes every day on Norman. Like, just because you caught them somewhere in practice, there's like a 70% chance you're not going to catch them there in the tournament.
Yeah, that's right. All right, Blake Parrish, one last quick question. Guys, sorry if we didn't get your question tonight. Please tune back in next Tuesday.
Yep.
We'll be sure to get your questions in. How much respect does everyone on tour show for the General Larry Nixon? I had to touch on that question. Larry is one of the most respected anglers on tour.
Yes, he is.
He is one of the best worm fishermen in the world, if not the best.
Yeah, probably the best.
He's a guy that I was watching when I was, in middle school.
Yeah,
high school.
Larry's dangerous when he's fishing, because if he finds a place that he knows they live there,
He will catch all of them.
He will catch every single one
He'll
of them.
catch all of them.
Like, you do not go in a pocket behind Larry, because he's caught them all.
He's methodical. He's efficient.
He doesn't
he's
leave
patient.
anything.
That's right. And I don't. Yeah.
And I actually talked to Larry today. He just had the wrist surgery or hand surgery.
Like for carpal tunnel.
Yeah, I think so. But he said he's doing good, and he's going to be ready to rock this winter whenever we get started back in January. So
Well, good.
said everything was going well with the rehab and all that. So
That's good to hear. And I guess the only negative is we have to compete against Larry again next year. So
that's not a negative, because I've learned a lot from Larry.
No, Larry's awesome. He will look you in the eye and shoot you straight, and very respectable. Just as nice a guy as you ever met, and one of the best fishermen I've ever known.
And he still wins.
He still wins.
He still wins.
That's right. There's not many guys that are his age that can do what he does and are successful. You know, some guys, they get to that age and they're not as competitive as they used to be.
Yeah.
That man is every bit as
Oh,
competitive.
he's still got the drive. I mean, he's like a 20-year-old fishing his first bass tournament.
Absolutely. Guys, thanks for tuning in tonight.
Thank you for watching, guys. We appreciate the questions and comments. Check us out next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Go to the shop tab on our Facebook page for the shirts and hats that are available now. All the different colors you see here. When we can't fish, we're still going to talk fish. Guys, thanks for watching.
Free shipping right here.